go.
And we have a start in the Princess Elizabeth, the junior men's eights, Shiplake College in the Berkshire Station and Choate Rosemary Hall, USA in the Buck Station. But it looks to me like Shiplake have blasted out to just a fractional lead over the crew from Choate.
And this is one of the best crews we've got in the country here, Shiplake College, coached by Hugh McWith-Praed. And their director of rowing, Dave Curry, who used to coach Abingdon, I believe in the 2013 year that Abingdon broke the record in the Princess Elizabeth. So they've got a great set of coaches behind them, and they're really making their technical dominance shown here. Half a length up already, just to the end of the island.
Yeah, Shiplake out to half a length lead over the Choate Rosemary Hall school. We're riding here with the Choate crew. I would think that they're not going to go down without a fight in this race. You don't come all the way from the US to fall out in the first lot of racing. But as you said, Peter, this crew, Shiplake from Britain, they are one of the strongest crews going around. So it is a tough race for the first round.
Really, really tough draw for the first round for the Americans. I mean, this Shiplake crew, they missed out on a medal in the Championship 8s category at Nat Schools. They were 4th, but they were 2nd at Schools Head. So really, really high caliber schoolboy rowing from Shiplake College here. The headmaster, Greg Davies, will be delighted to see them doing so well here. I think when you see the Americans come over, they're always an unknown quantity versus the local schoolboy circuit. So you can never really tell how you're going to match up until you're actually out there on the water, side by side.
And in the Shiplake crew on the screen now, in the bow seat, Oliver Durand, William Dolan, Henry Boyce Brook, Will Carey, S. Newman, Christian Portland Marks, Tom Scott, Tim Waller and Jamie Pond. They're leading now by about a length over Choate Rosemary Hall from the United States of America. If you're in the US watching us, thank you for joining us here for the live coverage, but it is the British school, the local crew, that is leading over Choate Rosemary Hall at this stage in the race.
They're still up there striking 38, which is a high rate of striking for the middle section of an 8s race. Typical race pace is around 36 strokes a minute, but clearly these ever so slightly lighter schoolboys from Shiplake College just trying to make their technical ability pay dividends for them out there on the water. Quick peek back from the Choate Rosemary Hall guys just to check that distance that they're going to have to eke back if they want to get back into contention, and it's looking like quite a big margin here, well over a length.
And we can see powerful strokes there as this Choate Rosemary Hall crew, they're trying to get themselves back into contention to make it through to the next round. But they're really struggling here against the crew in the Berkshire Station from Shiplake College as they're coming up towards the Remnant Club. It is Shiplake who are leading this race by about a length.
And they look so good. I mean, they don't show any signs of real stress or strain, which is really, really critical, because as soon as you start flopping about due to tiredness, then your blade work falls to bits. You don't transmit your power into the water as cleanly, and that's when you start to lose meters almost with every stroke to your contenders. Shiplake are really, really well held together here. I mean, it's just showing such maturity in their race strategy that they're able to hold themselves together. Their coxswain may at some stage start to say, you know, settle it down a little bit, just hold off this Choate Rosemary Hall school, but a lot of them looking over just to see how much of a lead they've got to make up.
Yeah, for the crews that are leading, it's a really hard act. I mean, you never want to discount the finish that another crew has on them, and I would think that Shiplake would not be taking it easy. They've got an American crew sitting just off their hip there. It's only about a length. Anything could happen in that amount of time, but at the same time, you have 5 days of racing. Coming up for racing each day is really tough. Even at a World Championship, you know, with the top athletes, which goes for about a week, you're only racing every second day, probably at most. So this is a really taxing regatta to be turning up day after day, race after race, and each race could be your last. So it's such a mind game participating in this event. But now the Shiplake crew, they're moving out to a little bit more of a comfortable margin, about a length and a half now over Choate Rosemary Hall, USA, who are just struggling to match the speed of the local crew.
Yeah, Shiplake have just dropped their rating slightly, only 2 pits. They're now at 36, so they're really settled into their race rhythm. But Choate Rosemary School have dropped it slightly further. They're down to 33 strokes a minute, clearly looking for better length and power through the water to try and leave their boat forwards more quickly, but certainly making the best of this here. Shiplake College looking like a real dominant force to be reckoned with out there, really weathering the storm. This is a great test for these guys. It'll help them better understand how they're going to match up against the competition through the later rounds.
And they're working incredibly hard there, the Shiplake crew. They have about a length and a half lead over the crew from the United States as they're starting to power down towards the last section of this racetrack. They're coming up towards the enclosures. Will the American crew have anything left in the tank? Will they have another dig at it? We'll see as they come down towards the last couple of 100 meters.
I think we'll see them make a go of it, but I reckon the stroke man there from the Shiplake College boat will see that. He'll be able to tell the coxswain in that Shiplake boat, look, they're going for it. We knew they would, and we need to go for it too if we're going to make sure that we don't get rowed through. And just looking at how composed that Shiplake boats are compared to the Americans here, I reckon that Shiplake boat would have an extra gear if they needed it to go to. Not quite chaining there. Chaining is when you see the puddles line up as perfect chains, so the distance per stroke it would be slightly longer than they've got here, but nonetheless really dominant performance from Shiplake.
And fantastic blade work there from the Shiplake crew. As we've said all afternoon, it is really taxing conditions out there, but they are not suffering. Look at that blade work, the precision. They really are a class act, and you can see why they're taking this win all the way down to the line. They now have more than 2 lengths clear water over the Choate Rosemary Hall School from the United States of America, and they are not taking the foot off the pedal. They are driving down to the line. As we said, you can't take anything for granted when it's a 2-horse race like this, but they're moving to an even greater Clearwater lead. They are going to take this all the way home.
Some delight from the local boys there. Shiplake only just down the road from Henley Town. In fact, it's one stop on the train about 10 minutes away. So they very, very much know this stretch of water. They'll be very, very comfortable with the distance markers and landmarks out there on the course. So they'll have known exactly where they were at every stage.
And crossing the line there for the win in the Princess Elizabeth is the Shiplake College, with a very comfortable win in the end there over the Choate Rosemary Hall School from the United States of America. Tough matchup on day one for the United States to get that Shiplake crew, who were a class act, to take the win in the PE.